I think this is going to be an A to Z video. And you've listened to many YouTubers out there talking about everything from, trolls to how much you need to live out here. And you've heard it over and over again, how to find a relationship or what to look for in a relationship, or I don't know, no matter whose channel I go on, I'm hearing the same repeated information over and over and over and over again. It's like Yawnville, crickets, it's gag me with a spoon type of things. These things are very basic. If you're going to live in the Philippines, I'll say a lot of this by experience too, but if you're going to live out here, the first thing I'm going to tell you, if you happen to have pre-existing health conditions and you don't have shall I say, a significant other, that could be a problem. Well, the first thing is don't move out here if you have pre-existing health conditions that have not been taken care of, or it's going to be, I don't know, an ongoing thing or an ongoing episode. This is kind of my wrap-up video here this morning. And I do mean wrap-up. This is my wrap-up video with a nice pink bow on it and, all the icing. I'm going to simplify things as much as I possibly can. Save you a lot of time and trouble, pain, sorrow, whatever it might cost. The obvious thing is, before you move out here, don't sell the farm. Okay, that's an obvious one. Spend some time out here and see how you like it. Kick the tires of the Philippines and see what you think about it. But you need to experience the good, the bad, and the ugly before you make a decision to, say, call this your home. Again, don't buy or build a house until you've been out here for a while, till you're secure in your relationship, and you don't, you're not obligated, remember, to stay here at all. But as I say, kick the tires a little bit, see what kind of feel it is for you. Because there are other countries that could be a lot more accommodating to you or whatever. Good morning, Mr. Philippines. Yeah. And if you had some kind of continual health episodes, especially, then maybe you should make some different considerations. If you still have a place to go back to. But okay, then we get to the thing about companionship, which has always been an ongoing topic on here. Not just with me, but I think it's been pretty big with me, where some people think they could be so independent out here in a foreign country, never mind, any language differences, but fortunately they do speak English out here as a second language, some better than others, but at least you can communicate. That's a plus. But if you had like heart conditions or something and whatever, and you're going to move out here, oh boy, or something, kind of radical, this might not be the place to live, in lieu of the fact that likely is you have no insurance out here. And it's going to be a cash situation for some kind of medical institution. No doubt about that. I've been through that. With that, kidney stone thing. Cash talks. This is a cash society. Even the hospitals, you're going to at least have to give a down payment for something before they're even going to continue to do any service for you. But they've changed things up just a little bit anyway out here. Okay, what would you say half the expats come here and are alone to start? Would I say that half the expats come here alone? Yeah, I would. I would think about half would be about right. Some come to explore, Some come on a mission. They have all kinds of missions. I want to get laid. I hear I can get laid in the Philippines because the Philippines has certainly made the news and on social platforms as a place where people will pretty much figure, Filipinos are easy. So is Earth Girls, right? Remember, there's a movie called Earth Girls Are Easy. They're not that easy. Well, unless you're going to pay for the date, then it's easy peasy. You really want to do that, though? Well, there's many that do. Hey, companionship is companionship, right? If the wallet is the thing that brings you that companionship, and I guess that's your gig, you know? It's shallow, but, it's your gig. People will do with their money what they want to do with it, whether you like it or not. And generally, it's not your business anyway what people do with their money. Not really. A late tea this morning. It's actually a cooler morning, which I'm very happy about. It's supposed to be 43% chance of thunderstorms today. You're weatherman of the Philippines here, at least for here anyway. So when you listen to all these channels, and I think Paul again was doing his budget. Of course, he doesn't want to say how much he makes a month. There's a combination of income between him and his wife. And if you got a gig going like that, cool, totally cool. He says his budget is $2,000 a month, that he'll live off $2,000, and whatever else is left over. I guess he banks it. Good idea, certainly. You should. Keep in mind also that the peso can go down, which means you're not getting your U.S. dollar buck worth at a Philippine peso. When a Philippine peso goes down, so that's less money you're going to make when you minus if you do an ATM transfers and all that, it's going to be that much money you're going to be losing. So it's at the 50 mark or something like that, right? I think it is 50. No, 56 mark, which is okay. You're getting a bang for your buck. You still are. But there are times in history that it's gone really, really low out here. This is like a one-show lesson on covering just about everything I can think of here that could sum up thousands and thousands of YouTube shows talking about the same thing in the Philippines. I make a disclaimer. I'm no expert. Never claimed to be on the Philippines. I never will be. I just live here. And through experience and time, I've become to realize that there's a lot more going on in the Philippines that meets the eyes to some people, that it's not always what people expect it to be. The hospitality is wonderful, but it could also be a disaster too. And many types of situations come up, and well, you just never know what happens out here. So the adventure continues when you live out here. Okay. But as far, and let's just sum it up. It doesn't have to be a long thing about how much it takes to live out here. It's very simple. What is your lifestyle? Do you like to drink? Okay. Well, you're going to spend money on alcohol, right? You smoke, you spend money on that, right? Okay. Do you like to flaunt your money on women to kind of impress them? Yeah, a lot of people do that. Well, it's money out the window, Could have been saved, could save the money. Oh, chocolato.
No.
Is that the chocolate? Oh, that's coffee.
Strawberry coffee.
Strawberry coffee? What? Is there such an animal as strawberry coffee? What? Man, look at this. I had no idea. You live and learn, don't you? Oh, look at this stuff. And this came from Japan because her daughter had just come back. Sakura strawberry latte. And it's a Starbucks thing. There's a symbol on there. Look at that. I never knew that existed. I don't think you see that out here in the Philippines. This came from Japan where they offer you a lot of different products. Boy, her daughter came back with some stuff to kill. There was that, matcha. There's like these wafers. It's kind of like it's kind of a wafer with something very creamy inside of it. It is matcha, made out of a matcha tea or something like that. Oh, excellent. All right, I'm kind of veering off the subject. Did you notice that the girls on Smoochie are very expensive? No, I didn't notice because I have no reason to go to Smoochie. I have no reason whatsoever. Some people do. Let's continue with the list before I get so sidetracked. So we got the thing here, make sure you don't have pre-existing health conditions coming here. That could set you back a lot of money, but could also, well, kill you. Make sure that you're a senior, okay?
You had on the left?
Yeah, with the cheese in it, honey. That would be nice if you could do that for me. She's gonna make me a cheese omelet because I just bought this shredded real cheese. It's different types of cheese in there, not plastic cheese. I made a mistake of buying one time and I threw the damn thing out. I certainly did. Okay, where was I? I'm always getting distracted. Okay, so you come out here and you feel everything is just going to be wonderful, and because you've been watching everybody's show, and you know how it is on there. Everybody's showing you the best life out here. They didn't want to really show you what's going on behind the scenes. That's one thing that they don't want to show you at all. But there's always something going on behind the scenes. They're not going to tell you about it. And like I said, people, live their life vicariously by your shows. And if you try to show that, oh my God, it's an exciting thing to live in the Philippines. Everybody's thinking, man, I got to be out there. I can't wait till I retire. Or I got maybe one more year of my job, and I'm just going to live on my pension until I can get my Social Security, and everything's going to be fantastic. Well, Medicare you have. If you're a senior and you're getting Social Security benefits, you're going to have Medicare. Never, never, never. Now, who was talking about that? Calvin was talking about giving up his citizenship to America. And that was such a foolish statement that even Smoot Lee did a show on that this morning or whatever, saying that's ridiculous. I would never give up my citizenship to the United States. Why would you do something like that? Because you're bitter about the racial tension and the cost of living. Smoot Lee was saying, who was saying? No, it was Paul that was saying that he just went to the store and got, oh my goodness, it was 3 little items he got in the store this morning. And it cost him a fortune. Right here in the Philippines, not in America. But Smoothly came on and was kind of addressing what Calvin had said about, how Calvin's all pissed off about America. He's still hanging all on about the racism and all that stuff. There's racism everywhere, not just in America. It's prevalent. It's everywhere, And because of what happened in the past with African Americans and Rosa Parks and the bus and everything else, and I think a lot of African Americans have moved on, but there are a certain number of them that haven't moved on, and they want to hold all this bitterness. The government, I don't know what's going on with this, some political. South Africa, they were letting, white South Africans come into the country here. So I don't know. I didn't follow that, There's always going to be a gripe about something, but giving your citizenship up to America, when you got that little card that could save your life. Don't forget, if you're in the Philippines, you can't use your Medicare card here, right? You do know that. But you can use it in Guam, which is an American territory, instead of flying all the way to America. Now, of course, if you have an immediate need for something happening, yeah, you're going to have to go to one of these Cebu or Manila hospitals. No, we didn't go anywhere today. It's tomorrow. We didn't go anywhere today. Tomorrow. So you're going to utilize that card. Unless you have like a radical emergency, like I said, then you're going to have to go wherever you happen to live, closer, Cebu, Manila. You're going to have something taken care of immediately. Unless, yes, it's going to cost you money out of your pocket. That's where having a little bit in your savings is going to make a world of difference to get it done. But just getting before that, just going back, it's just not good coming here without a little bit of resources in the bank for what could happen. Expect the worst. You hope for the best, expect for the worst. It is so radically different from the United States out here. Just face it, if you just visited here, just to kind of hang around, see what it's all about, kick the tires, see if you can meet a couple of women, you got a pretty good idea what it's all about. See, the Philippines presents itself right in your face, from the minute you get here. And I remember when I first got here, it just hit me in the face, Bam, the traffic, the pollution, all the people, all the cars, the noise pollution too. and it just hits you in the face. And I remember I had to retreat back, and I've talked about this not 1,000 times, but I've talked about it. I had to retreat back to my hotel that time, the first time. I needed to regroup. I needed to regroup. This was like a cultural shock that I never experienced in my life. Pretty radical. An actual cultural shock. Okay, so the monetary thing, let's kind of clear that up and we'll move on with something else. You could live on just about any amount of money you want, but it's going to radically affect your lifestyle. The kind of food you like to eat, medicines you may need to buy. Everybody needs over-the-counter products now and then. It could be toiletries, could be toothpaste, could be mouthwash. That all adds up. It's not cheap. You get a tube of cortisone cream, you get a little half an ounce. It's going to cost you like freaking 400 pesos, about $7 and change or something. I mean, you got to think about all these little things. It adds up. And it adds up quick. Then you want to get a girlfriend. Ah, okay. Now comes into the social thing. You want to get a girlfriend out here on that small budget that you have. It's just not going to work. No, that's not going to work at all. You can't spread yourself that thin. Some people have, and they pay the price for it. They said, I can't do it out here. I thought I could. And all those shows, yeah, some people said you're living on $400, $500 a month out here. We heard it 1,000 times. Well, let me just get that out of the way. You can, but you're going to be living the lifestyle of a relatively poor Filipino. And they're struggling all the time on their income. They'll work at these call centers, which is a blessing for them. They could make anywhere from $13,000 to $17,000 a month, according to how long you've been there, and get some bennies from it too. Put into Social Security system, which you have to do that. You have to. I know people that have been working off the books, and they have not been putting into their Social Security retirement system. So when they turn 60 out here, they're not going to have anything to show for it at all, and they're going to be living with their relatives and sucking off them. Hey, that's just a fact. You got to put into your Social Security system. Okay, what do we got? We got an egg omelet with a couple of carbohydrate breads, toasted bread. Shit, I might as well go all the way and just add butter or something. I don't know. Well, whatever. I'll make a sandwich out of it like I always do. Oh, yeah, turn that fan on for sure. Now, the other thing I'm going to need to touch upon and this is really important, that's why I say I can almost feel sorry for these people that are doing it alone out here, because there are things that come up that are unexpected, and you can be glad that they're there, or anybody, or a friend, or a neighbor, or something. There could be things that go on that you're going to really need some kind of assistance of some sort for whatever's going on. It could be medical, whatever. You could be losing your mind. I don't know. Whatever applies to you. What can happen will happen. What you think may not happen could happen. You got to keep that in mind. You may not plan for something, but all of a sudden, whoa! Like, what the fuck? What just happened? I've had some experiences like that. I've certainly had. So, coming out here and doing it alone, thinking you're a big old stud, you got it all figured out, that don't work. It just doesn't work. As you will find out. Give it a try. And I don't have to name names on here. You know who they are. They're constantly looking for a moving companion. They have to pay for it. That's not the life if you're going to be living here in the Philippines. It's expensive enough, for one. And even if you got a lot of that money, you're chasing your tail. You're wasting your time to get some temporary comfort and satisfaction. Carnal or otherwise. It's not worth it. Chasing your tail. Round and round she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows. Can't live that way, especially when you're getting older. Things break down. You never know what'll happen to you. And what if you're alone in your rented apartment or hotel? You don't have a companion there. Is anybody going to know about it? No. Unless they find your dead, rotten body, or actually you've only made arrangements to stay there for a week, and you've been there beyond a week without paying, so the owner's going to come there and say, hey, what's going down? Yeah, somebody tried to call you a couple of times on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they're going to find your dead body there.
Mm.
Horrible to say, but that does happen. I'm sure it's happened. People came here with health conditions that they really shouldn't have been.
Unsa man?
And this is in a freaking foreign country, man. It's not a good place for that to happen. I've had incidents out here, and I was really glad that she was here. Okay, moving on down the line. All right, we covered companionship and how important that is. It's good for you mentally, and it's good for you physically. I'm not talking about sex. Okay, your life could depend on that someday. You're going to be glad that you have a companion. Instead of running to the bars, ringing bells and all that shit, and having some false companionship, but they don't really give a rat's ass about you. They just care about that free drink or money. All right, we can move on from that. Keeping and maintaining a relationship is a lot of work. And some people might find Filipinos to be quite fickle, maybe in some ways, or they might find them to be, some of them, quite demanding, but mostly they're not. I don't think a lot of Filipinos, good ones anyway, really expect.
You want more?
No, I'm good, babe. I want you to eat that. Get some protein in you.
Oh, you still have it.
Put some meat on your bones, you know. I got a little bit too meat. I think I need 2 inches of my belly to disappear. That ain't bad. I'm not going to complain about that. Doing pretty good, actually. But, all right, where were we? Okay, so many things to talk about, but maintaining a relationship out here with somebody, you'll know if the chick is good or not, you know. It shouldn't really take that long. Just ask the right questions, repeat them again some other times. See if you get another answer, you know. It's really imperative because not only are you never going to be alone again having a Filipino, but she introduces you to her friends too, so people get to know you. So, you know, after being a while out here for a while, wherever you are, you know, you got people that are going to know you, and that might come in handy sometime for many, many reasons. All kinds of support, and I don't mean financial. It helps to know people. You have a certain job you need to get done. You know people that are going to say, okay, yeah, man. I know this guy's a great plumber, a great electrician. I know a good lawyer or something. There's always somebody that's going to give you some good information. Because they're a little more privy to what's available out here than you are. They always have an uncle or somebody that does this or does that. Okay, moving on. Those that decide to get on social media. Could be a good way to network. For some, it could be a good way to make a little money. Only a rare few really make any significant money on YouTube. You got to ask yourself, is it worth the effort to do so? Some people, it really is. There's even a couple $100 a month that could pay their rent somewhere. So yes, I would say it's a great idea if that's what you want to do. But keep in mind all the things that go along with being on social media. Got to consider it. The other thing, if you really don't like the Philippines that much and you're in a relationship, you're very happy with your relationship, for example, but you just don't like the Philippines. That's not really in my case, but many, you hear them griping a lot. I love being my Filipino, but I'm sorry, honey, I got to go back to the States or whatever. Well, you got to do what you have to do, but, you just got into a relationship. What about her feelings, too? She can't make it, maybe, to your country. She doesn't have the qualifications, the immigration, whatever, to go. So after all that investment in emotion, what, you're going to hightail back to your country and leave her alone voluntarily? That could play havoc on her. It'll play havoc on you too, but if she has a large family out here, she may not want to leave that family. You got to keep that in mind. She may not want to live in America. Now, of course, if she has no children, they're grown up already, no worry. But still, no hurry. Getting Americanized is workable for some, but can be disastrous for some too. Well, for the guy. This is nothing that you haven't heard before. I'm just going down that list to save you a lot of trouble. And somebody's going to be talking about the same old rehash. Rehashing some old hash. Sum it up. The Philippines could be a challenging place for you. You're not in Kansas anymore. You've heard that expression. It could be extremely challenging in many ways. You got to keep pace with things. You have to absorb some of the culture and find what you may think are the good points about living out here. And stop listening, for one, to all these YouTubers that are, because they're very bitter in their life, they're trying to get you to leave the Philippines or not go here in the first place. Because things didn't work out very well for them. Don't fall into that trap. A lot of these people have had issues and tissues well before they decided to move to the Philippines. Don't even listen to them. Experience the Philippines your own way. And that applies socially, to your financial budget. It means exploring prices. See if this is something you can afford to eat. You may have to adjust your diet because maybe you can't afford certain things that you'd like to have. Certain comfort foods, it's just not here. And if they are in a big city, you're going to pay a premium price for getting them. I've been through all that. I pay a premium price even here on the island. It's not even Cebu. I pay a premium price for everything around here. Eggs shouldn't cost that much. I mean, come on. Bread shouldn't cost that much, but it does. And it's not even a special bread. Just enriched white bread, made by Gardenia, which you get that brand over here a lot. Your personal happiness out here is really nobody else's responsibility. It's yours. You made the decision to be out here, or you're making plans to come out here. But I'm not saying not to listen to the other YouTubers, because some of them could actually really share some very vital information about their experiences. And yes, you should listen to some of the shows. But if they're constantly being very negative and not showing any positive end to the Philippines, too biased or whatever, don't listen to them. Listen to somebody's show from somebody who's actually been living out here and they actually experienced the Philippines. And somebody like myself who's willing to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about it. And there is all of the above. I've experienced all of it. It's not easy being green. I've had an incident this morning, and I'm glad she was here. I'm not going to talk about it. It was nothing radical, but it seemed like it was. It really turned out to be absolutely nothing. I'm glad she was here. No heart condition, no nothing like that. No lung thing or nothing. Just say I had a slight incident this morning, unexpected. I'm glad she was here. And these kind of shits could happen. It could be something really small, but it seemed like something awfully big. But fortunately, it wasn't. It felt like it was. Pardon my snorting. I do have allergies. I'm not getting rid of that. I know that much. That ain't gonna happen, especially out here. Ah,
What? Dylan.
who? Oh,
Dylan.
oh, Dylan. Okay. But as you age, you may experience a few things that you don't expect. They could be really small, but still, to you, it's significant. But to anybody else, it may not be. But I've had a few incidents since I've actually been out here when I wasn't hydrated enough. That'll that'll get it. That'll get you. And I know that as a fact, because that happened to me. Some people actually get low blood pressure rather than high. And a lot of things can cause that too. Low blood pressure, not high. I mean, there's so many incidents that could happen as you get older. Thank your lucky stars that you're in pretty good health. If you're in your 60s or 70s, then you're doing pretty good. Consider, all right, so the other, let's go down the line even further. The unexpected things. I mean, this is again, a tropical country, and you know how hot it is. I don't have to give weather reports on here, but you got to know what you're getting into. And if you were heat intolerant somewhere else, you're going to be definitely heat intolerant out here. Henceforth, the wonderful, marvelous thing called an air conditioner. And if you need to get under it, get under it. This is the season right now where it gets really hot, obviously, so if you're living out here, you know what I mean. Even our boy Paul was talking about that. He stays home. If it's that hot out there, unless he really has to go somewhere, and I hear this a lot, everybody thinks that all us seniors are just doing gymnastics and all kinds of crazy shit. No, we're not. Some of us are fortunate enough to be in good shape that you could actually work out a little bit. You could actually handle a couple of weights. You could handle going on a treadmill. Some can't even do that. Thank you, lucky stars. Is it lucky stars or it's your lifestyle? That's a good question. So you got to keep yourself in optimum health out here by diet, by supplementation, having blood tests done every now and then, because blood tests are an indicator that there's something going wrong. They look at your platelets, your white blood cells, your red blood cells, your T cells. They look at all that shit, and if something is out of whack, that allows them to investigate even further. Hey, there's something going on, or you got an infection or something. And if you can't even do that on your budget, and we go back to budget again too on that, because that's actually important. What's that? My health has actually been better from moving to the Philippines? Okay, cool. Some people don't work. Gilda went to Cebu not too long ago. Got to go back again, but man, she came back with skin reactions, all kinds of shit. Every time I've gone into Cebu, it's a pleasure and also a displeasure because Maybe I'll get to do things and stores will be available to me to meet my needs, both in food or clothing or whatever. That works out real well. And I like going to Cebu, but I just don't like staying there a long time because obviously I have allergies. You hear me sniffing a lot. Truthfully, I have not even been taking antihistamines. I guess I should. I haven't taken them for a while. I actually I ran out. I should go buy some. Decongestants come in handy, but you're never going to get the good stuff out here like you get in America. You're not going to get any products with pseudoephedrine in there out here. I'll tell you that much, because people use it for you know making shabu stuff like that. So you think your health has been better? Well, that's good. No, you got to. There's nobody. You're responsible to yourself. Everything you do, everything you say, you got to take on a certain responsibility because nobody else might do that for you. You make mistakes out here, you're going to pay for them one way or the other. We know about that, don't we? We know about people paying for their mistakes. And there's some people that, kind of have this attitude, well, I can get away with anything I want out here. No, it doesn't work that way. Not here in the Philippines, I'm sorry. It just don't work that way. Obviously not. Obviously not. There we go. Sniff, sniff, whatever. Some things that become very challenging, but you deal with it. Whether you have a health condition or something external, environmental, whatever, you deal with it. It's your mission to know how to take care of yourself and don't always depend on people around you. But I will say, and I cannot emphasize this more, is that you need a companion out here. I know a lot of people think, well, I'm really independent. I don't need a companion. As long as I get a piece of ass every now and then, I'm real happy. But come on, let's face it, that's such a shallow experience. Getting laid, you just go there and masturbate if you really need an orgasm. You don't need a woman to do that. And you could get any woman you want to get you to get yourself off if that's what you're used to doing. Go to porn sites, Pornhub or something. That seems to be a popular one. Pornhub, I'm sure everybody knows about that. And you could have any woman you want, Asian, Swiss, whatever she might be, whatever size and shape, whatever fetish that you have. And there's some people with some strange fetishes. You can have anything you want and don't have to pay anything for it. So why hire anybody for a date when you know it's fucking shallow? It's as shallow as having to look at these porn sites and get yourself off. Really shallow. But it's still the same result. Okay? You had your little moment of, I don't know how to politely say this on here. You had a fucking orgasm. Okay, just say it. Never stopped me before. Success. There you go. Until next time, you know? You meet a woman, you have sex with her, it's just shallow. You get off, okay, had my fill. I'll get 10 more before the week is over. Yeah, right. That's nearly an impossibility. Unless you're really going to flash that cash all over the place, you're going to get all the attention that you want. All the attention that you want and need. But you got to pay for it. Uh, Regular guy, Jasper, and Ace Bachelor come to mind. Oh, God, that Jasper guy. I don't know. I just somehow this guy's heading for disaster. But that's not what the show's about. I have a lot of opinions on people on here. Some of them mixed, and some of them are just straight up. You know what I think of some people on here. I'm not going to go into that spiel about how they're living a great life or trying to pretend that they do. But yeah, we've covered that from head to toe in a lot of my shows. Everybody has something to say, but it's according to what they say as to how severe it could be and the consequences of doing so. I will talk about Jay to Abo Man for a minute here. I must. I think it's an obligation. Obviously, nobody has any paperwork But Jay is heading for a disaster. He just doesn't know it yet. His constant antics are going to constantly get him in trouble all the time. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I'll move on. Everybody wants to get your goat and pull your chain if you let them. Okay, so you came to the Philippines, you found a woman. Fantastic. She seems great. All's good. My advice, don't move to Dumaguete. That would be great advice. You want a certain comfort level, and I don't think historically it has ever worked for most people on here. Even Paul got taken advantage of for a lot of money from a contractor, and you heard all the stories on his show being taken advantage of as being a foreigner. That happens all the time. That crazy love of mine. And you get taken advantage of if you allow them to take advantage of you. You've got to research the people. If you're going to get a contractor, you just get an architect or something. Everybody's a contractor out here, you know. They're basically laborers. Unless you're a bona fide, you're an engineer. If you're a bona fide engineer, a building engineer, that's what you want. I had work done on my house. These were not engineers. I can't say they did a 100% fantastic job on certain stuff, and I've hired people that did a really a bum job, such as my floor, my tiles, or they try to find quick fixes for a solution that is not going to be a solid fix with the problem. You're going to experience it out here. You're going to experience again, and we're moving down the ladder. You're moving up and down the ladder here. We're telling you everything that's been talked about here in one show. You know, one show. Me having high expectations from people. The Filipinos are the greatest people in the world. They are great people. They are friendly. But, you know, sometimes situations come up when they just don't seem that friendly. Could be your neighbors. It could be some new friends you made, Filipino friends. It could be somebody that also is very jealous of your lifestyle out here. Maybe they're jealous of your Filipina. She's got the house and they don't, and she always seems well dressed. Always seems to buy things when she needs it. But as long as somebody's not flaunting their wealth, don't do that with Filipina. Don't flaunt your wealth. Whether you are a Filipina that's in a relationship with a foreigner, don't flaunt your wealth to even your best friends out here because jealousy is huge out here on every level you could possibly think of. Jealousy factor. A lot of that. Filipinas and Filipinos are jealous people. A Filipino can be jealous of his Filipina for various reasons. A Filipina can be jealous of her friends because maybe they have more than she does. And they always try to impress people. They put TikTok on and say, look what I got today. I got a Gucci bag. Well, obviously, you know, it's not a real Gucci bag. But you see, the name means a lot. And you know it was made in China, right? Even a good pair, if you think it's some Nike shoes or something, right? Chances are it's not Nike. But they got the label, the symbol on there. But you see, it doesn't matter to Filipinos because it's, you know, it's a face value thing. And it makes them feel good that they have this top brand name on their purse or carry bag, whatever they call them out here, wallet, an item of clothing. If it bears the name of a popular country, that's a status symbol out here. It's huge. And everybody knows you didn't really, you know, you got a knockoff product from China. But still, they take it for its value, the name. Everybody wants to look like they're stepped up a little bit out here. Everybody wants to be above their poverty level out here. That's just the truth. Everyone. And you can't blame them. If they could find an opportunity to do that, you can't blame them at all. But you have to ask yourself if it's going to be a relationship to give you that step up. What are you willing to settle for? What are you willing to do to be well taken care of by your foreigner husband, partner? What are you willing to put up with to achieve that couple of steps up from where you were? Or will you succumb to that relationship and say it's just not worth it? Philippines says true. Carrying a branded paper bag is a status. Even a paper bag, yes, even a shopping bag. And I know some chick on here that likes to go shopping, supposedly has no money. Whatever, she doesn't really, but was at a shopping store. She had to put on, and no names, please. She had to show the shopping bag because she was in a mall. Like, look at me, look at me. I got this great brand name on a shopping bag from a very seemingly expensive store. Look how well I'm doing. All it is a message to their friends and their peers. It's look at me, look at me, look at me. They're pretending to do better than they really are. They're living in a fantasy land, a lot of them. They can't get out of their poverty. But they want to show people, hey, I'm dealing with it though. And look at this. Look at the brand name I've got on this item I just bought from the mall. Probably took them forever to save up that money just to impress other people. It happens every day out here. So, yes, in retrospect, you have a lot to deal with when you want to live in a foreign country. That doesn't have to be the Philippines, but since we're talking about Philippines, let's talk about that. There's a lot you have to deal with. There's a lot you're giving up in the States. There's a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And maybe it is a good trade off after all when you consider even the bugaboos of living out here. Maybe it's still a good trade off after all because you didn't have a great life from where you came from. Maybe you have a better life out here financially or socially or whatever. Whatever your need and reason is, you moved out, and on a positive note, where it's worked out for some people, they thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, moving out to the Philippines because they could buy their drinks cheaper if they like to drink, whatever, smokes, whatever. Who was saying? Was it Australia? Somewhere. 35 bucks a pack for a pack of cigarettes? That's insane. That's insane. What are they going for now in America? 12 bucks at least for a major brand minimum, right? What if you have a really bad smoking habit and you were like chain smoking like some people do? The fuck it's going to cost you? Then you have to really say, is it really worth it? Probably not. Probably not. That's a decision you have to make. Yeah, I don't know. Do the math. I think the average cigarettes out here, where I live, go from 165 to 180. Some people try to get away with 190 or 200. And do the math. It's just whatever the current exchange rate is, what that adds up to. It'll vary a little bit. It's still far cheaper than buying it in America or certainly other countries like Australia. 35 bucks a pack? You gotta be kidding me, man. Anybody have a habit that bad that they're willing? I guess, your drug of choice. If you're a junkie or something, your drug of choice, you're going to find a way to get that drug no matter how much it costs you, right? I know we're veering into a different subject here, but I'll try to get back online. But I think it all kind of stays in line. I think what we're talking about to some degree. You're going to get that drug of choice, aren't you? You certainly are. You have angina. You have like a heart thing going on, angina. You're going to need that medicine for it. You don't want no chest pain, right? You're going to do whatever you have to do to get what you want. And some of these people have to go in the black market to get some of this stuff out here. Let's face it, if you're in a lot of pain, you don't have a lot of choices out here. What's the biggest pain reliever out here? Ibuprofen or tramadol? Sometimes tramadol doesn't do the trick. I know. Because when I had that kidney stone, it was giving me pain. Didn't do shit. Didn't do shit. So keep that in mind too. Well, you cannot get certain prescription drugs out here. That's something to consider too. Okay? So we're covered. This is an A to Z thing as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. I've covered some stuff, but it's your lifestyle. It's how you budget. If you like to go chase skirts all the time, you got to buy drinks for everybody. Well, if you're on a low income, I probably wouldn't suggest doing that. It's an obvious thing. Some people do. Some people are making enough money, but they want yours because we don't know anybody like that, do we? But they want your money. They don't want to go into their piggy bank and spend it. They'll give you a sob story, you know, and you'll be the fool that'll donate money to them. Well, tell me that doesn't happen, right? All the time. Did your gluteus shots attribute to the kidney stone? I would think that it did because I wasn't aware of how many milligrams of absorbic acid was in. That's the vitamin C, chemical absorbic acid. There was 10,000 milligrams of that puppy in there. No, no. I normally only take at best 1,000 milligrams a day, and sometimes I just take 500. But one of the reasons, if you are smoking, and that's a choice you're making or still do, I don't know, there's some formula that you're robbing your body of like 25 milligrams of vitamin C with every cigarette you smoke, and you have to compensate for that. Like anything else, you have to compensate for. You're not getting your B vitamins, you're not getting your protein, all that good stuff, all that fun stuff, and you got to compensate for it. Just like you need water, living in the tropics. There were many times I was outdoors. I mean, actually, just yesterday, we had to go downtown for something, and a kid used the electric bike to drive me and Gilda downtown. And she started to talk to somebody that we know real well. And even though I was drinking a bottle of water, it was really hot and humid. I'm saying, no, no, this is enough. I went over there and I told her, and I said, hey, it's really hot. We got to go. You know, say bye bye. Let's get what we need. Let's go back home. You know when you need to go back home. You know when you're being subject to very uncomfortable weather with high humidity. Follow your instincts, follow the signs that your body is telling you something. Listen to your body. Because if you don't, you're going to pay for it one way or the other with your health. Yeah, glutathione. No, that's a good thing. Don't ever get me wrong on that. The local people like to give that to make a little income, but they want to make a little more income, and they're going to add, the a tremendous amount of vitamin C in there, which is an antioxidant as well as glutathione. They figure both of them in there is going to do great. They even going to charge you for stem cells. And they're getting some kind of a vegetable stem cell of some sort. It's not even a thing that's even workable that's going to help you. Stem cell therapy can be very beneficial, it could not. But they're throwing absorbic acid in there also, and they're throwing stem cells. Some Chinese stem cells. I mean, they're not even animal related. It's more vegetable. Believe it or not, there are stem cells in plants. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know everything. No, it's not the real thing. No, but glutathione, yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of Filipinos use it for something else. They really believe it's going to whiten their skin. I don't know what's with that. I like their skin color. I'm with somebody with that skin color. I don't know why it's a problem. Be happy of who you are and your skin color. Stop trying to be like, you know, Western culture, Caucasian. Be happy with yourself. It's another thing. Self esteem out here. They always want to have that golden baby. That's why they also marry foreigners, but not just for the money. They want to have that golden child. They want to have a mixed child. It's a trophy. It's a trophy. And my God, if that kid came out with blue eyes, oh man, it's platinum. It's not golden anymore. It's platinum. I guess that happens sometimes. But I think the Filipino genome is more powerful, I think, than the Caucasian, I think, because every time I've seen a mixed child, I never saw with blue eyes or green eyes, especially green eyes. Never, ever. That's very rare. They could take on some traits of the Caucasian father in some ways, but they still look very Filipino. I don't know, strong genes, but you look at a kid, that's from a Filipino mother, and you can see all the Filipino in that kid, more so than you're going to see any kind of other cultural inheritance from that mixture of the parents. Okay, so I was just trying to sum this up and show that you could sum up every damn thing anybody's ever talked about on here in one show. And we'll finalize it with, are people really living the lives that they claim they are? These are foreigners, of course. Of course they're not. We've gathered that in spades. People that are really quick to point out what they think are your faults. And none of us are without faults, not even me. But I'm big enough to admit I have faults. Some people don't want to admit that. I don't know, some kind of self protection of some sort, their character. But if you've been listening to somebody long enough, you already made your analysis of that person. You already know. Philippine says blue eyes. LOL. How about a baby with two different colored eyes? You got me. I know. I know who you're talking about. I know. But no, we're talking about Philippine mixtures, not what happened in America. That's called inbreeding. Yeah, inbreeding. It's a good sign toward inbreeding. I mean, if you come from the South and you're a hillbilly and you got two different colored eyes, it probably is an indication of inbreeding in a family line. It could go way back in a family line to great great grandparents. Yeah, it could go way back. Shows up in a different generation. Certain features on people could show up in a different generation. It's amazing. But that's funny. Yeah, got me on that one. Yeah, yeah, great one. Be happy who you are. You don't have to extend your stories or elaborate on your stories. All this fucking hyperbole going on here. How much money one person has more than the other. How much power they have because of their fat wallet. How many women they could get. It's all because of their fat wallet. It's really not anything to do with they have this very jovial, wonderful personality, and they're such good people, and they're very faithful people, and you know, faithful in a relationship, faith to God, whatever. Nah, none of them fit that billing on here. I don't know one person on here that fits that billing. Not one. Not even one. So with that being said, and I'm trying to think of anything else I need to cover on here, except to sum it up by saying, live your own life. That's exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do. Don't let people's words hurt you. But as I said, I want to give you an example, and like a Barry thing, and I know you're looking forward to hear something about him or his name or anything. Yeah, he deserved everything because you know what? I had a friend, I talk about it, in Brazil. Started off as a romantic interest, but I knew that would never work. The language, he hardly spoke any English at all. I knew a little bit of Spanish, but not a lot. And no gringo wants to go to where she lived in Brazil, inland in a Alfredo, something Alfredo. Oh no, oh farming town. Smart woman, getting a lawyer and psychology degree. Could you believe that shit? Well, they pay for your education out there. Anyway, it just turned out later on it was never going to happen. And it's funny, we always kept in touch with each other. She always followed my social media, but then when all this shit started with Bonehead trying to say it was his child predator, all this other shit, she was listening to that. And she didn't know what the hell to believe. And, I started hearing from her less and less till I don't even hear from him anymore. So, yes, he did break up a really good friendship among a lot of things he did. So that's why, my eyes are pretty dry when it comes to him. And anything else that could happen to him, I don't really care. I don't care. I honestly do not care. There's some people that don't deserve freedom. There's some people that don't deserve any Midas touch from anybody at all. Some people that are not worth donating to when they've done some really horrible things that this guy has done don't deserve any of that. Nope, not in my book. I don't know about yours. Not in my book. Okay, let's see. Portuguese is impossible to learn. Oh my God. Yeah, we communicated though. it took a while between each call it transmission, line for line on a messenger or something. And eventually, she used a translator or something. They have that Google Translate, whatever it is on there. Beautiful gal, too. Beautiful gal. If you like busty women, she was very busty. Beautiful big eyes, big brown eyes, smart as a whip. Right now, she probably has both a lawyer and psychologist degree. Both. Both. Because education was free over there in Brazil. But I'm just making a point. There's some people you just can't be lenient with. When it's really gone just too far, you have to say, enough, man. Well, I am actually saying enough now on this show with everything and everybody. Comes a time when you say, look, I got my job done. Some other unfinished business I got to take care of. And of course I will, because, well, sometimes you have to. No job is really totally unfinished, really, when you think about it. But you can't let somebody prevent you from going on with your life and enjoying the life you do have. But to get back on this loneliness shit, that is a denominator with a lot of people on here. And if you're going to live out here, I'm going to tell you right up front, because I've been with her for over 9 years, almost 9.5. I'm not sure exactly on the nose. I've had a few incidents out here that I'm glad she was around, because I had a couple of things happen to me that I'm glad she was there to come to my assistance. Well, I was tripping or something, or I got dizzy for seemingly no reason at all, then found out why, but still having her there was very comforting. If you were living out here in the Philippines alone, and you were actually living in your abode, and you were living alone and something happened to you, would you have a close neighbor to go to, or anybody who gave a shit about that? That's something you got to think about too. You really do. I've had a few incidents, not many, but I've had a few incidents since I've been out here that I thought was alarming at the time, and it could have been. It didn't turn out to be much at all. Well, it could have been. No, pardon me, that's not true. Dehydration, it could kill you. I mean, there's a lot of things, a sudden drop in blood pressure. That happened to me once or twice in 9.5 years. That's okay. It wasn't high blood pressure, causing you to get dizzy. And that happened, as I said, a couple of times. Other than that, really no major incidences out here other than having a kidney stone. And that was, how do you want to talk about it? You think I make a big thing about that until you get it. And you get a 9 millimeter stone in your urethra, however you want to pronounce it. You don't know what pain is until you experience that. You might as well have been shot in the fucking kidneys. You might have been shot, might as well just been shot or stabbed. I've never been shot or stabbed, but I could use my imagination to say it's probably not very pleasant. That's what it feels like. And also sciatica, I could do that too. So a couple of things, sciatica, kidney stone, and you've heard women talking about this, saying, you know what, when I compare a kidney stone with giving childbirth, they said, I'll take childbirth any time over a kidney stone. Because some women have a very good pregnancy and a birth, with not too much pain, but a lot of women have a lot of pain. Get that big goddamn bowling ball out of me now. I want it out. How do they do that? I don't know, but they do, and it's natural. And that's why we're all here, because we came from mama. And she had to go through a lot of pain to have you. Then maybe you grow up to be a pain in the ass to your mom. Then you wind up living with your mother. You wind up living with your mother. Still sucking off those tits. Even at 50 years old, some people are still sucking off their mother's tits. Isn't it amazing when you hear or experience that with people? It's just amazing. Absolutely amazes me. Be independent. But you cannot always be independent in the Philippines here by a lot of the stories I just spoke about. You think you could. Ruler of your own kingdom. Ruler of your health. Well, you do rule your health, but there are things that happen that have nothing to do with how you rule things, because sometimes there's something called accidents or whatever that you can't control, or some bodily function that goes out, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, or whatever. You don't plan that, but you probably contributed to it, though, with your heavy drinking. Whose fault is that? It's your own fault, right? Okay, I think I spoke enough on here. Ah, I already see where this day is going. It's not as hot so far as yesterday, but it's still going to be very humid. It doesn't take much, dudes. So I don't want to hear this crap that, people are not leaving their house. Well, talk to Paul, talk to all these other expats that are actually living out here, that are of senior age, and get the truth out of them. Ask them, tell me what you really do. And if you were sitting down personally with them, maybe they didn't want to say that, but a lot of do say that on their show. A lot of them do. I don't know. I just kind of sit around keeping cool. It's too hot out there, man. And I've also heard this too. Man, I just don't feel like traveling with this kind of hot weather. I'm no longer able to handle that anymore. That's kind of like what's come to me, for traveling. I gave a lot of reasons why I don't travel. There's certain responsibilities I have. Responsibilities. Some people actually have responsibilities, and some people actually take their responsibilities seriously, like I do. That makes it impossible to do some things, or make it very hard. Anyway, I gotta go. Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to go on with something, but I won't. I'll keep that under wraps. Yeah, it's better I do keep it under wraps. Until we meet again, my friends, until we meet again, have a wonderful day.